What's going on, everybody, and what's going on, folks? Welcome to the Deconstructing Topic podcast. My name is David, and I'm your legendary host of the Deconstructing Topic podcast. Where we grab a couple of topics, we got a couple of topics, and we just deconstructed the D way, which is, listen, D stands for my name, David. Let's make it happen. And today we got a little sports little episode going on here in the world of sports. A couple of stuff that I want to talk about for those who out there are keeping up with the World Baseball Classic as a Puerto Rican kid born in Puerto Rico, living in the United States. Let's go, Puerto Rico. Come on, man. Hey, listen, props to Team USA as in they in the tournament. The tournament starts basically tomorrow. There are 8 teams left for 8 countries. We're going to go over that. And I also want to touch bases on the 83-point performance by Ben Adebayos from the Miami Heat, the forward center. I want to do these weekly sports thing, but my life, hey, listen, there's so much going on, and in the world of creating content, you have to unplug yourself. I try my best to be on top of baseball, football. Football is the one sport that I like to say that I could plug myself on Sundays with the red zone, only the red zone. I mean, sometimes it's hard to watch my New York Giants. Just watching one game and you'll be like, what's going on? You got the baseball, my New York Yankees coming up. We got the Rangers struggling in hockey and NHL. We got the New York Knicks. We contenders, and then we pretenders. Basically, that's the New York Knicks in a nutshell. The season once again. We put in 3-4 games where we looking like one of the top teams out there in the NBA, looking to win a championship. Then we go on a 2-game winning streak, losing like by 60 points combined. I'm just saying. But hey, listen, I try my best to, and in the world wrestling, we got WrestleMania coming up. I try my best to be on top of the game, basically. No funny stuff. But here we are. We're doing a little sports thing because the way... When am I going to talk here first? We are going to talk about the NBA and the 83 game for Ben Adebayos, the forward and center from Miami Heat, which is kind of like that 83 game is the talk of the town in the NBA and in a sense in sports. And if you always, hey, listen, I always appreciate anybody out there. You hit that like button, comment. Once again, that's going to help me. If you love my podcast, don't be greedy and be like, not hit the like button just because you're listening to. No, you want other people to listen because you believe and you take time to listen to my podcast. So feel free, once again, to hit that like, comment, and share. All that good stuff. But we making it happen. You already know. You're talking about the Ben Adebayos game of 83 points versus the Washington Wizards. I want to say I didn't watch the game. I seen highlights. I heard of it. Then I went back before, let's say, doing this podcast. I went back and I watched more of the quote-unquote full highlights. And my train of thought, because it looks like, for the most part, someone who does a feat, especially, let's say, in the NBA, being that that's the second most scoring game ever in the NBA. Will Chamberlain with 100. And you already know Kobe, the legendary Kobe, Black Mamba, with 81. People are just saying, some people I hear a little bit of everything. Some shatters. Again, you would think that something great happened in sports, but the fact that there's some backlash and a lot of backlash, I'll give my little 2 cents on the situation. Again, when you do a feat in sports, unless you're cheating, doing something out there, it's hard to give you props. You already know the cyclist Lance Armstrong was on the dopey-dope, winning the Tour de France like if that was a candy. Tour de France cycling, not an easy sport. Imagine cycling, going up a hill, down a hill, to the side. Whew, come on, man. Come on. I don't even think that there's a cyclist over 200 pounds. They all like 150 and 120. That's with the equipment on. I'm just saying. It's hard. But it's hard to kind of say, wow, you done this now again. We'll I don't want to open a can of worms because that's another topic. We could talk about steroid use and all that and cheating and all that in sports. But this is a game with the 83 points that, hey, listen, all right, you did your thing. I mean, what a feat. And I want to say, hey, what a feat. Hey, great. 83 points in 42 minutes in the NBA. Once again, Kobe Bryant with 81 in what we would call modern basketball or modern NBA, and Will Chamberlain 100, like half a century ago, I think it was, or something to that effect. Again, wonderful feats, all different in its own kind. But obviously, in my lifetime, the two games, which is the Kobe Bryant game of 81 points, and not even the great Michael Jordan. I think the most he ever scored like 68. Have you ever scored 70? I don't know. But when you score that much in the NBA, it's reserved for great legendary players. And I could understand the backlash where there's those out there who'll be like, Ben Adebayos? Who in the world is this dude who happened to have been scoring 16 points per game or 17 out of nowhere, it blows up at 83. Now, I'm going to say this. I watched the full highlights. I'm going to give you the stat line. For those out there who have not watched basketball, just, wait, listen, it's good to know. If you have not watched basketball and you're listening to this, if you're from other countries and you're listening to this, hey, listen, basketball is basketball. That basketball is where we at. Created here in United States of America. And the stat line would be this. You go for 20 for 43 in field goal. This one is interesting. You go 7 and 22 in 3-point. Now, for those out there, a 3-pointer would be that you divide or you multiply 7 times 3. That means that in a basket, you get 2 points. 3-pointer, you shoot a 3-pointer, you get 3, obviously. And if you go to the free throw, which he did, which is the questionable stat of 36 out of 43, you get 1 point. And you got 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. But he had like a nice little overall game. If you look at the highlights, and I'll be straight up, I'm not saying and I'm implying it because sadly in the world of sports, and we got now sports betting, I don't know what was his numbers where you're going to get money. I don't know if somebody say, hey, listen, if Ben Adebayos scored more than 30 points, the fact that he averages 16. If he gets more than 30 or 40, if I put in or I bet it, again, legally, $5, I'm going to get 5,000. I'm just saying. I don't know what was the stat lines or the betting line for Ben at that, in the couple of nights ago against Washington to put in 83 points. But if I'm looking at the highlights, especially in the first quarter, he was hot. You could tell the Wizards was playing. And they were guarding him. He was hot. He was doing the 3-pointer. He was doing a little bit of everything. And he scored about 30-something, 32, 30 points in the first quarter. Basketball is 4 quarters. Keep in mind, if he does this every quarter, 30, 60, 90, you could have 120 games. 120 points. But it's a little bit difficult to push somebody to do that much in a 42-minute game, especially if the other team also gets the ball, run out the clock, whatever it is. So, somewhere, you could start to see that when the third quarter, you could start to see that Washington Wizard was not trying to stop the dude. It's like, oh, we're watching history, let history happen. And there was some questionable fouls. There was some questionable, defense. Now, he got to dunk the ball. He got in somebody's back. He got to do a little bit of everything. But sometimes it seems a little bit questioned, especially if you go for the free throw. Now, let me throw this stat line. Kobe Bryant, the legendary Kobe Bryant, who scored 81 points back in 2006 against the Toronto Raptors. His stats, 28 out of 46. That means 60%. That means that Kobe was hotter than Ben. 7 out of 13 from 3-point. Now, keep in mind, Ben shot 22. If he got a little bit, you would think that, because he's shooting more threes. If he got more threes, God knows, he would have gotten 90, 95, maybe 100. But the fact that if you're telling me this person who's a center power forward, now, centers and power forward these days, they could shoot threes. Some of them could shoot the ball. Whether it goes in and out, they're not Stephen Curry, but I'm just saying. It is questionable that you start to think that perhaps they were pushing the stats. And the fouls and all this nonsense. Now, Kobe went 7 of 13 from 3-point, very proficient versus 7 of 22 versus Ben. Free throws, 18 of 20 was Kobe Bryant. Think about it. I mean, it was a little tough game. I seen the highlights of that game as well. Toronto was playing hard. I mean, it ain't like if they were just letting Kobe do his thing. Kobe was just proficient, shooting the ball, not getting into the foul. He was shooting. Double team, that ain't work. But with Ben, I seen the full highlights, and it just was just no defense. There was a lot of one-on-one, a lot of isolation. For those people that familiar with basketball, not familiar with basketball, I'm sorry. You basically, that's 5-on-5. The other 4 plays starts to stand on the 3-point line somewhere. So that if you're Ben, you're one-on-one with whatever the player. And then, you'll get some help in the defense. But by the time that they come and help, because keep in mind, you got, it's a little bit hard to play zone in the NBA. So if you're doing the isolation, you got basically one-on-one matchup. And Ben, literally, he's athletic. Ain't not taking that away from him. But for me, doing that thing one-on-one, and then again, it was just so strange. So I see a lot of people just calling in asterisks. Like, listen, I don't want to call in asterisks, but I'm just saying. It is a questionable game, and I could understand why there's questioning, why people question the game, why people feel like this is a slap to basketball. Let's see. Let's see how, the world of basketball reacts to it or come about. But it is questionable. Again, props to Ben. He was not SGA. He was not Bronson from the Knicks. He was not your typical player to do this. Let's just hope that this is not a pattern for the NBA to do this, because sadly the NBA's ratings, when it comes to its TV ratings, are a little bit down. The attendance is still always going to be attendance. But because attendance, I always say, when it comes to NBA, listen, yeah, it is a little pricey. So again, props to him, whatever it is. I mean, he made it happen. But again, I could understand where are those people that just be like, you know what? I don't know about this game. This game a little sketchy. And me personally, the way I've kind of see the game somewhere. I'm not saying it was rigged. I'm just saying that somewhere it looked like the Washington Wizards stopped playing defense. And when they did play defense, they fouled him because he is a decent free throw shooter and let him stat. I can pad up the stats. But that's the word of basketball. Once again, if you enjoy it, by all means. If you didn't, hey, by all means, continue to watch. I love sports. Just continue to watch. Let's see. Let's go next. Let's go with some baseball classic, which now we are in the tournament elimination time. And let me just say is this. I grew up watching baseball. Baseball to me was my first sport that I could say that, because since I was born in Puerto Rico, we had a lot of Puerto Ricans, great baseball players, Hall of Fame. You already know Roberto Clemente, how I feel about Roberto Clemente, the pride and joy of Puerto Rico. Let's go. But the fact is that, growing up and coming to the United States, baseball was my thing. Now football is my thing now. But I'm just saying, baseball is always that thing. It's always in my heart. You know what I mean? And I always kind of knock baseball a little bit because it is a long game. There's a little bit of not too much of excitement. But in these World Baseball Classic, especially this year, looking at Team Republic, Dominican Republic, who is facing Korea tomorrow. Then you got Team USA versus Canada. And you got Puerto Rico versus Italia on Saturday. And you got Venezuela versus Japan on Saturday. The fact that, I tried to see if I could watch some games, sneak in my little, my phone, somewhere, I'm not going to try to say, I'm just saying, not giving away my secret. I'm just saying, I'm trying my best, but it's a little bit difficult, so I try to catch the highlights. And I'm going to say, well, it's Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic, some of the Latin countries that were there before, Nicaragua and so on, Mexico, you got Venezuela fans, Japanese fans. There's something about this tournament and these baseball classic thing that brings fans to say, wow, if the Major League Baseball, for some reason, or teams decided, I'm going to bring a band in and something to ump up the crowd, I tell you, baseball will be so much fun. And the fact that you got these folks, these baseball players, we've seen in Dominican Republic, we've seen in Puerto Rico, we've seen it in Japan, when they hit a home run, and especially a home run to make it happen, they celebrating. Like if there's no tomorrow and there's no retaliation. And that's one thing about baseball and the major league sports, that if I hit a home run, regardless of whatever the condition is, whether it's for the most part not the winning, I just happen to hit a home run and I'm trotting the bases, dancing a little bit of salsa. And next time I bat up, the pitcher's gonna get so upset that's gonna ding me. And when I say ding, it's trying to hit me with the baseball, pitch at me. See, Major League Baseball is missing something. And I want my players to be excited, but sadly, baseball frowns. Like this gentleman's sport of whatever it is, frown. Like if you did something extra, that next time somebody's going to say something, like you shouldn't do that because we playing baseball. The World Baseball Classic, and let that sink in, is fun. And seeing the highlights, seeing the fans is fun. And people are watching it, people are gravitating because there's a lot of pride, obviously. These are not just teams, these are country. Puerto Rico and Italia, come on. Hey. We might have a little West Side Story part 3 up in this motherflower. Venezuela, listen now, Venezuela, it's a hotbed in baseball, believe it or not. Japan, Japan, for some reason, Japan is always that country that whatever United States invent, in Japan perfects the whatever it is. And baseball is that one sport. Invented in United States, but Japan perfected it, the art of baseball, because they play. I've seen some documentaries, kids in Japan. Geez, it's like a military out there. But, bro, let me tell you something. Baseball over there in Japan is popular. Always been, and will continue to do so. Because it's fun. You know what I mean? The fans get into it. There's always something. There's always an atmosphere. It looks like you're going to a party based on videos that I've seen. It's not like the fans here in United States. I remember years ago, there was this group of young ladies, I believe it was Yankee Stadium. And even I could tell you this story. There's American fans go to the stadium and they on their phones. And that's okay. You're checking your messages. You're hitting people up. But when you're on your phone for like 50-80% of the game, and I remember these young ladies, those cameras like, oh, okay, I guess the only time they reacted when they realized that they're on TV, like, oh my God. In baseball, let the fans be fun. If you're a baseball team, let them be fun. In Japan and in that league, they let people be fun. Now we got on the other side of this pond, we got United States and Canada, 2 countries, 2 of the 3 countries that will be hosting the FIFA World Cup this year. So Canada and United States, they got a little rivalry of everything, especially in hockey. In hockey, you already seen a couple of weeks ago, the Winter Olympics, you already know. Hockey, Canada and United States, oh my goodness. And baseball, hey, listen, United States got a little up and up, obviously. But Canada doesn't go that far, so Canada has fielded a lot of good team. And keep in mind, there's a baseball team in Canada that plays in the Major League Baseball. Is the Toronto Blue Jays. So it's going to be interesting there. Once again, even the Canadian fans, a little reserved, but a little bit louder, The American fans, again, they do their thing. And they are letting loose because that pride. United States, let's go. Because the tournament, for the most part, right now in this elimination is going to be United States. So we get that little home field advantage. But let's see. Again, I'm not going to say who's going to win, who's not. Not my predictions for now. I'm rooting for Team Puerto Rico. You already know Team Rubio. Let's go. And then you got Korea. Korea, again, another country that has perfected it. Baseball. They love baseball in Korea. Great baseball players from Korea. And they are facing against la República Dominicana. La República Dominicana in baseball. If Japan have perfect baseball, I wish am I saying it right? Perfect. I don't know, whatever. Republic, not only did they perfect baseball, but wow, have they turned baseball? They love baseball. Baseball is fun in the Republic. it used to be a little bit different, but if you look at 30, 40 years ago, there were certain poor parts in Dominican Republic, especially de Macorís. I forgot Francisco de Macorís town. Impoverished towns in Dominican that sadly baseball was their go out, and then in Major League had these camps and they exploited a lot of kids. That's a whole different story. But now it's a little bit different because you got a lot of Major League Baseball players that are Dominican making money and they doing their own camp thing. So it's a little bit different now. You know, Dominican, how can I say, Dominican Republic and Dominican baseball players have taken more control of their players in a sense. Winter ball, it's a big thing in Dominican Republic, where to say, oh, I don't really need to go to America to make the big bucks, even though you want to go to America. But the fact is that now there's more of a control and they love baseball. Jeez. More power to them. That's my neighbors. Hopefully it'll be a Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic thing. Because if Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic in baseball, it's like hockey with American Canada. Maybe it's more a little fun in baseball, but it's gonna be interesting. And shout out to Dominican Republic because their fans and their players and la música that they incorporate in baseball. Take notice, Major League Baseball. Take notice. I think there's a petition of making the DR, as they call it, the Dominican Republic, part of the Major League Baseball team. That's funny. Perhaps maybe they'll manage something. Not Dominican Republic, the country in itself, but at least something. That would be fun. Because baseball, I'll tell you, I just, when it's Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic and Japan, like those are the three countries where the fans, you gotta love these fans. Look, listen, shout out to the United States. Hey, Italia, Venezuela, not too far. They think, Venezuela is a little mini hotbed. And Korea, hey, again. But for some reason, if you watch a baseball game, you watch these three countries when they play, the RPR and Japón. Wow. Sometimes you're watching baseball in a concert, basically. But I love it. But anyway, I'm just throwing it out there for Major League. Follow suit. If you're a fan of baseball and you're out there and you think that, let's say, I'll give an example, Yankee Stadium. In Yankee Stadium, we got the bleacher creatures. For those out there, bleachers is a place where tickets are not expensive, but you're going to get certain people out there. But I love the bleacher creatures. I've been in the bleachers a few times in my lifetime in Yankee Stadium. And with the new Yankee Stadium, and I believe it's a tradition they started in the O as well, is that they do the calling of their baseball team, their baseball player. Let's say, Derby Jeter, some type of deal. Jorge, we're talking about the back then. Aaron Judge, Aaron. They do the calling before the game or when the game started in the first inning. So that's just cool. Let me know if you know any tradition that is fun that we might not know here. But let Major League, let them know. If you want to gather fans, I hope that they land people with some instruments or something to that effect. I know that sometimes Americans, I love America, but sometimes Americans be a little bit too uptight, a little bit too much. Oh, it's that. Is that? What kind of music is that? Is that salsa? Like salsa. Not salsa. It's not like a sauce. You're listening to something like, hey, papi, let's go. And then you got that boy in Dominican Republic, a merengue. What's that? Is that a merengue? I'm listening to what kind of music is that? I'm just saying, come on, Major League. Get your stuff together. Make baseball fun. Let players be. Let the fans be respectfully. If you're listening out there, let me know what you think. Once again, hit me up if you want to make things happen for baseball and baseball fans so people could be like, yeah, can we be like people in the World Baseball Classic? Is that fun? Let me know. Hit up the kid. You already know Deconstructing Topic Podcast. We out of here. Once again, feel free to like, comment, share, all that good stuff because the love that I got for you, woo, it's always infinite. I'm out of here. Perfect. Let me know. I know it's perfect, but I'm trying to add the E and the D at the end. Whatever. Let's make it happen. Ooh, I'm out. Peace.